Hello, guys. Welcome back to Hatshepsut Economics. Hatshepsut, and it's your girl Connie. And if you haven't done so already, I'm saying it again. Please like and subscribe, and tap that notification bells for future notifications. Also, guys, I have a coaching and personal finance page and economics page. All you gotta do is go to the description box. It's called Hatshepsut Life, and it's a Facebook page. It's completely private. It's $10 to join and only $10 a month to get all of your information on how you can become an entrepreneurship, how you can become economically empowered and financially free, just like me, just like all of us. We're having so much success on that page. I'm super duper excited. And I love the fact that it's private, troll free, and a bunch of serious people, serious women there who definitely want to get economically empowered and financially free. This is a topic that keeps coming up. Connie, credit, credit, credit. How can I do with my credit? What can I do? So this is another series in Let's Get That Credit Out There series. Let's fix that credit. So this is some of the things that I research on my tabs. These are eight foolproof steps to get you out of debt fast. So this is about people who are like, Connie, I want to get out of debt now. And I don't blame you. If you're in debt, there's little you can do. If you want to be an investor, if you want loans, if you want to network business wise, there are people who will not work with you if your credit score is bad. It shows that you don't have a good, responsible history. So now we're going to go into this. This has a great little video that you can watch, but we're not going to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is just go through this fast because there's a lot of information and I want to go through it. So the first thing you're going to do is stop using your credit card, son. Stop using it. People complain all the time about how much debt they are in and they desperately want to get out. My response, stop using your credit cards, okay? The answer is typically yes, which presents a problem. If you want to get out of debt, you'll have to stop using your credit cards. The more you swipe, the more the balance climbs. Having a hard time letting go? Try freezing the cards in a cup of ice. By the time you're able to access them again, hopefully you change your mind. And if you feel you can't afford to let go because of financial constraints, start by setting up a spending plan and building an emergency fund to get you through those tough times without having to resort to debt. If you're trying to recover from a full scale financial crisis, you can check out here in the description box, click on this link that I'm reading, 7 ways to bounce back from financial disaster, which will help you get beyond debt payment to credit restoration and psychological relief. You want to hear my personal tip that the page didn't say? How to get out of credit cards and stop doing that? Guys, know how much you're spending. I'm so shocked that all these sites didn't give any tips. In order for you to get a credit card debt, you got to know your debt. You got to know your debt to income ratio. Sit down, do a ledger. Not even complicated. How much money do you spend? How much money do you earn? And do a budget. And by doing that budget, you can actually save money because sometimes it's frivolous things. And there's ways that you can actually invest without having that extra money. So definitely before you do anything, this is a Connie Walker tip. You can go and you can see how much you have to invest. You can go and you have to see how much you have to spend and how much you have to save. So a lot of times people complain about debt. And if you ask them how much you spend a month, they don't know. How much you spend a year, they don't know. If you ask them, okay, what's your debt to income ratio, they don't know. Of course you're going to be in debt because you're spending blindly without even knowing how much you need to use, what's paramount in the terms of the money you get. So definitely do that first. And that is something I recommend. Pay as much as you can each month. So this is really good. You want to pay as much as you can. So once you have an emergency fund intact, use any funds you have at your disposal to put toward debt, even if it's a few dollars. The more you pay, the faster you get out of debt. That's common sense. Did you save money at the grocery store by stacking coupons with sales, using the savings to pay off debt? Did you work some overtime last week? And if you can find some spare change lying around, use that as well. All right. So make cuts to your spending. That's the first thing I said. But how are you going to make cuts to your spending if you know your budget? Okay. Though this may be tough to accomplish, it shouldn't be, as you'll have to take a good look at where your money is going and separate the necessities from the mere wants. I'm not suggesting you cut every single expense in the book by 75%. Because your well-being is the utmost important. However, you can go without the daily trips to the local coffee shop, Starbucks, or lunch at an expensive place every single day. Over time, these savings can add up and dig you out of a hole much quicker than you expected. All right. So double up on payments. Don't be a minimum payment queen. So you paid off one credit card, congratulations. But it doesn't mean it's party time. A small and reasonably priced reward for your accomplishment is okay, but you don't need to go out there and buy another Louis bag. To keep the momentum going by allocating those funds are now freed up to the next balance in line. Use non-reoccurring sources of income to pay down balances. Now, this is where Hatshepsut economics comes in. You do not, and I repeat, you do not want to drain yourself and make yourself financially vulnerable to pay off debt. This is where a lot of me and other financial wizards, we clash heads. You do not want to drain your savings account and emergency account to pay off debt, because you might miss a mortgage payment because you're working from paycheck to paycheck. Your daughter may get sick and you don't have full insurance and you can't afford to take it to your emergency room. You really don't want to use your active income. This is where Hatshepsut economics comes in, and you might start wanting to seek and diversify your sources of income. This can be probably a blessing in disguise, because this is going to force you not to have one single source of income, which no American should have. Not at this point. It's completely asinine. It is completely insane to have one source of income in the United States in 2018, especially if you're working for a private company, and especially if you're not union. Even if you are, generational wealth is the biggest source of the lack of socioeconomics, positivity in lower ethnic groups. So you want to make sure that you have other sources of income. All right. As tempting as it is to use a source of non-recurring income to buy that something you really want, bite the bullet and use a portion. I would say use the whole thing of the funds to pay off your debt and use your income to save, or vice versa. Tax season's upon us. I think it is. So here's your opportunity if you'll be receiving a refund, or maybe you're set to receive an inheritance. I don't know if you're lucky, but be wise about where you spend your money. Completely ignore the debt to go on shopping spree. It's just not good. Okay, ignore shopping altogether. You're going to see a lot of wealthy people. I learned this from working in corporate boards. I learned this from working in corporate America. And, God bless my experience. Guys, you really have to stop buying frivolous crap unless you are rich. I talk in very controversial terms about how a car is not an investment until it's paid, and a car is not even an investment unless it's a collector's item. Once you drive that car off the lot, you're losing 50% value. And I hear you guys. I hear you. Connie, I live in Oklahoma. Connie, I live in Arizona. Connie, I live in Las Vegas. I need a car. Yeah, you can get a car. It's paramount to your life. But you don't need that Mercedes Benz. You don't need that Jeep, that what's that expensive Jeep? I forgot the name of it. But you don't, oh, that Land Rover. You don't need that Infinity. So you got to make a wise choice. And if you're buying an excessive luxury car, it's not an investment. So you got to think about the long game. Think about the end game. You can't think about short term. So get your car. And I'm not saying you got to drive around in a hoopty that you're embarrassed to park in broad daylight, but you got to remember it's all about becoming wealthy. It's all about becoming rich. It's all about becoming economically empowered and financially free. And you're not going to get that if you continue to pump your assets into dead liabilities. Okay? So don't do it. The next one is freelance to earn extra money. Now, this has to put economics. So you might want to take a contract job, a finance job, or even a remote job. You might want to look at my life skills series, because you're like, Connie, what can I do? You can babysit. You can open up your own business online for absolutely no money. You can go on to remote jobs. There's a link that I have on my Hatshepsut Life page that shows 25 sites where you can invest for a remote job. You could be a virtual assistant. You could do secretarial things remotely. You can be a travel consultant planner. You can even freelance makeup, cosmetics, massage, anything, depending on what you do. I have a beautiful young lady that started a dog grooming business. I have other young ladies that started a nanny business, a laundry, dry cleaning, concierge, you name it, you say it. And for those of us in big metropolis cities, it's even more viable. So if you have a talent or skill in an area that people are willing to pay you for, IT, computers, training, coaching, try your hand at freelancing to make some extra dollars on the side. In some instances, you may be able to generate a substantial amount of cash. Think about affiliate marketing, stuff like that, all of which should be contributed to pay off the debt fund to move things right along, unless you are behind on your bills or you barely have enough money in your possession to meet your own basic needs. So I'm glad they said that your basic needs come first. Okay. So, seven, tackle those debts with the highest interest rates first. So again, look at your interest rates. If you're new to credit cards, shop, and try to avoid those ridiculous store cards that don't give you anything but ridiculous high debt. Okay, so although some prefer the debt snowball method, which suggests you pay the debt with the lowest balances first to build momentum, it makes more financial sense to get to those with higher interest rates out of the way first. The ultimate goal is to pay off debt. However, the choice is yours. Okay, so you want to make sure the choice is not yours. You're paying off the cards with the highest ratio to interest, because that's the one that's going to kill you in the end. So you want to pay minimum balances on the smaller interest ones and pay off your biggest on the cards that have the biggest interest that's going to hit you. All right. Don't sacrifice the things you love the most. So paying off debt can require a lifestyle change, but you still want to buy underwear. You still want to buy soap. You still want to make sure you're drinking clean water. Just a little bit of a comedy part for you. So don't go crazy and make yourself miserable, because that's going to make you hate balancing and investing and saving money. This is a great, you should be excited because you're working towards a goal. You're working towards economic freedom. You're working towards financial freedom. So you shouldn't be going crazy and analyzing the penny over every single thing. I've gone shopping with friends that spent 3 hours trying to pick apples. I'm not lying to you, because they couldn't figure out which apple was the cheapest. We're talking about 5 cents difference. You don't want to be overzealous. You don't want to be Scrooge McDuck. You want to make sure that what you're doing makes absolute sense. So that's it, guys. These are my tips really fast. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. If you like this and you're interested in entrepreneurship, you're interested in financial freedom, you're interested in diversifying your income, it don't matter if you're a doctor, nurse, engineer, please join my page, Hatshepsut Life. It's $10 a month, $10 to join, and it's private. So you can talk about your financial goals. You can talk about what you're doing financially in peace, and it's all women. Thank you guys so much for listening, and see you soon.